A controversial video showing two foreign men, allegedly a gay couple, sharing intimate moments at the iconic Black Star Square and Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum has sparked nationwide outrage. The footage, which appears to depict a symbolic wedding ceremony with the Ghanaian flag prominently displayed and Kwame Nkrumah's statue in view, has drawn widespread condemnation. Old Tafo MP Vincent Ekwasefwa is among the outspoken critics, formally petitioning the President John Dramani Mahama to publicly condemn the act and reaffirm Ghana's cultural values. Here are excerpts of that petition coming up on your screen shortly. And it reads that I have just returned to Accra from Ho in the Volta region, where I attended the climax of our successful Girls in ICT program. I have seen numerous tags and posts about the abhorrent disrespect of our culture and values by two, quote, he says, useless individuals. The disrespect of our national symbols is despicable, to say the least. However, I am shocked to see apologists from the NPP calling on me and demanding action. What a shameless lot we are. Where we are today without a strict legislation of these ills, because former was Sam George's response. But then let me bring you what I had promised you, which is Vincent's actual statement. And it goes on to state that with a heavy heart and deep concern, I write to you not just as a citizen of Ghana, but as someone deeply troubled by a disturbing development that has caused immense pain to many Ghanaians across the country. In recent days, images have circulated showing two homosexual individuals taking deliberate photographs at the Independence Square and the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum sites that represents not only our freedom, but our national pride and the sacrifices of our forefathers. These spaces are sacred, he says, and they are not to be turned into platforms for promoting acts that are fundamentally alien to our cultural, moral, and religious values. This is not just a social issue. It is a moral affront and a spiritual insult to the conscience of our nation. I speak with grief because what happened is not just a photo opportunity. It is symbolic of a creeping agenda to normalize what the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians respect and reject, I beg your pardon, as immoral. Worse still, it took place at the Independence Square, the very ground that marks the divine, and the statement goes on to state, the divine hand of God in granting us freedom as a people. That ground has now been defiled. Your Excellency, you gave your word to the Christian Council, the Catholic Bishop Conference, and to all who care deeply about our nation's moral future. Your promise that if elected, you would sign into law the proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill. Many of us took comfort in that promise, but promises must now give way to bold action. Member of Parliament for Old Tafo Vincent Ekwasefwa, who has petitioned the President on this matter, spoke on Joy News today.
The President is passionate about this country, as I am. And so the petition was sent yesterday early in the morning. So I am hoping that based on his words and his commitment, as far as His Excellency the President is concerned, I hope that I will hear from him very, very soon. I do not need to hear from him by way of a letter to me or whatsoever. I only want to hear him condemn the situation. I only want to see him show that amount of commitment that he showed the people of Ghana before he assumed the reins of government in January. Then that's all that I'm expecting from Mr. Excellency the President.
there are legal instruments that could back the security agencies to pick up these two visitors, if I can call them that. Have you sought to bring that to their attention yet?
Of course, it's one of the avenues that I'm looking at in the event that within some few days or weeks and the AG refuses to do anything about it. Then
did you say the AG refuses to do anything about it?
Yes, of course. I mean, per Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution, it is the duty of the Attorney General to be able to prosecute people who are seen to have done anything that affects the state in terms of criminality. And so, I mean, if he refuses to do so, we will take it as if he's forgotten about it or he has a lot of things to deal with. We will remind the AG by way of a letter or petition to make sure that these people are dealt with. You cannot blame the MPP for this. I say so because there were illegal issues, as you rightly said. However, even in the event that anybody would want to blame the New Patriotic Party, it is on that basis that we were voted out of government. I've already maintained that I am a Catholic. If you check my stance on LGBTQ when we were in government, even at the time that I appeared before the vetting committee as a deputy minister designate, I had my strong stance on it, that it cannot be allowed to fester in this our country. However, at the time, remember, it was not topical as we are finding it at the latter part of the NPP's government and even now. But it's becoming very clear that it is something that we have to deal with. The people of Ghana voted against the NPP because of the fact that maybe per your own assertions or allegations.
Away from that, residents along Ghana's coastal communities are worried about loss of property if sea level rises. Now, this follows a warning by the Ghana Meteorological Agency asking them to avoid the beaches and open waters this weekend, as sea conditions are expected to become extremely dangerous. GMET says wave heights could surge up to 2.8 meters, far exceeding the safe limit of 1.5 meters and crossing the 2.5 meter mark, classified as hazardous for marine activity. Our correspondent Ivy Sechaji has been on the ground providing us with updates as to what exactly is happening. Ivy, take us away.
Actually scared after hearing this early this morning. They are saying that they hope that things does not escalate, because mostly it starts in the late afternoons when they see the high tides and they start running for their dear lives. So they are hoping that today nothing of that sort happens. But some of them are also preparing to leave for their the homes of their friends and family to avoid any disaster. Some of them said they will wait, especially the men, they will wait and see how it unfolds. So yes, the residents of these areas in the Ketu South, Anglogat District, and Keta are very worried about this announcement. They are hoping that something is done. They are happy about the construction that is ongoing, according to them, but they still want some urgent attention, especially with this announcement.
Well, local NADBO has issued a fresh statement on this, and coming up on your screens are excerpts of that statement. It reads that the National Disaster Management Organization, KETA, wishes to inform all fisherfolk, canoe and net owners, fishmongers, and residents along the coast that rising sea levels will be recorded in the range of 1.8 to 2.5 meters during this rainy season. This development increases the risk of tidal waves, flooding, and property damage, especially in low-lying coastal areas. Now, they go on to state that they strongly advise that they secure their canoes, nets, and other fishing gear away from the immediate shore. They They also advise that they avoid fishing during high tides or when sea conditions are dangerous. They go on to state that they must relocate valuables and fish stock to higher grounds if possible. And then they finalize by stating that they would monitor weather updates and sea levels warnings regularly. Now, they go on to state that they'll call on the chief fishermen, media houses, information centers, and all community leaders to help disseminate this vital information to ensure everyone's safety. Well, let's go to the community now and speak to an environmental safety advocate, Joel Degu. We appreciate your time joining us live from Keta. In the communities that the NADMO have warned us that they're most likely to see rising sea levels. Based on your checks, are residents even aware of this information from GMET? You may have to unmute for me to hear you clearly. Mr. Joel, do I have your attention?
Madam, I can hear you now.
I'm glad I have your attention. You're on the grounds, and so I just wanted to find out, based on your interaction with residents, are they even aware of this information from GMET?
Yes, good afternoon to your listeners. Yes, they are really aware of the information released by GMET over this issue of the high tide today, tomorrow, and the day following. Yeah, the NADMO office in Keta municipality has released a press statement to the media outlets within the municipality for the information to be relayed through the chief fishermen and to the coastal dwellers, especially the fisher folks.
And how responsive are the residents to warnings that they may need to evacuate valuables from the area?
Yes, since the press release this morning, I think some have already gone to sea. Since yesterday, they went to leave their nets in the sea and came on shore and needed to go and gather them. So most of them have gone to sea early in the day and have returned and have gotten the information that it is not advisable for them to go today, tomorrow to the sea again.
But as an environmental safety advocate, how best you feel that we can tackle this head on?
Yes, these are natural occurrences. So I think the best thing is to let this information reach the community early enough through the early warning system. Number two is to have community liaison officers. And this one is being done through the chief fishermen. But I believe through the community centers, information centers too, the information have been released. And I think it's early enough to forestall every misfortune, every risk of going to sea from tomorrow to the next day.
Your time here on the Pulse. Away from that to other stories, let me take you now to the northeast region, WaleWale to be precise, where tensions are escalating as youth groups protest a curfew they label as politically motivated. Residents argue the restrictions imposed without consultation are crippling the economy and violating their rights. They want President John Dramani Mahama to remove Ibrahim Tia as minister for his refusal to lift the curfew despite appeals from the Mampungu Lord.
It's not saving us at all. It's not helping us because you are there because of the people. And you yourself, you know there's nothing going like fight here. Nothing, no one is fighting here. So you can talk to your boss. And you know you are not fighting here. So why you have right to tell the president the truth? Because of the people, you are the minister. You are minister. I support everything they say about the minister. I support it 100%. And because we WaleWale peoples, we don't want violence. We just want the country to be peace so that everybody will be doing his work. That's why we just keep quiet. But if they wanted to push us too much, we won't agree. Because we're not fighting here. So why all these things? So we'll come out and do demonstration. Everyone will see that. They think now we don't have anybody. That's why they wanted to do that. What the president is doing, I don't think is good.
Meanwhile, the municipal chief executive for WaleWale, Mohammed Rabiu, insists on review rather than a complete withdrawal.
It should be reviewed. Our proposal, it should be reviewed, not taken off completely, but reviewed, because since the imposition of it, it has been reviewed up to a stage. Right. So I'll ask that it is reviewed again as we continue to observe, so that we don't have to abruptly take it out. We should review it again. As we continue to review it, maybe the time in the evening would go up, and then the early mornings will also come down, so that at that point, we are still aware that the curfew is there. But you can see and notice that eventually, at that point in time, you will notice that everybody would have learned the sense of the curfew. The reason why the curfew was imposed. And everybody is now fine-tuning. We are fine-tuning our minds to the imposition of the curfew, and it's no longer a challenge as it used to be. But if it continues to be there and then we do not even feel it, why don't we take it off? But I still think that if we get the opportunity, let's review it again and see, and finally before it is taken off. But I will not say that outrightly that we should take the curfew off right now, but let's review it again.
You're still watching The Pulse. When we return, we'll bring you an exciting conversation. I'm sure you're expecting the Impact Makers Award ceremony, which is coming up tomorrow. We have highlights of that for you when we come back from this week.